Hi, everybody. Okay, so again, I'm Tracy Goddard. I'm an alcoholic, and I think I'm like 200 and something days sober. I shouldn't shake my head. It's actually very important. But been sober for quite some time. I am posting blogs on recovery, being that I've been through quite a process of recovery. My whole family has been involved in it. I am 41 years old. I'm a mother of 3 children, and I've been married 19 years, going on 20. Not an easy road to go through, but I am hoping to get recovery out to everybody who certainly can't afford it, can't afford the insurance. I have been to many rehabilitation centers where they're only getting covered for the detox, and for that I do apologize very much. It saddens me to see that. I've been lucky enough that my husband has had insurance to pay for 30 days and 30 days and 60 days and whatever's been needed for me. I know not everybody is as blessed as I am. So again, what I've been going through is rehabilitation. First, I touched base on why people don't want to go to rehab. It's not that they're not aware that they don't have a problem, but fear. Fear is usually what keeps people from wanting to get help. Also, the admittance stage. People don't understand the difference between accepting and admitting something. So the difference in that is anybody can say anything. You can tell a rehabilitation center or your family exactly what they want to hear. Yes, I know it's gotten a little out of control, but I know what I'm doing, and I will stop when it's time, and all of this nonsense is admitting. It is telling somebody what they want to hear. When I want to get out of a rehab, the first couple of times, I repeated back everything that they had taught me. Because it was the way to get out, it was the way to graduate, and it was the way to get another drink. Did I understand how deep this problem was? No, I did not. I thought that for a long time, I'd say into the 4th rehab, I thought that I just wasn't conceiving the idea that there wasn't a cure, that I wasn't going to come out and everything was going to be better or different. I could not grasp my mind around that. I came back out. I continued to do the same things. After that failed on me quite a few times, I then began changing my structure and listening, and not just hearing what people were saying, but utterly listening. It did get to a point where I did not want to be this way anymore. I did not want to live this way. My life was getting very chaotic, as they say in step 1, completely unmanageable. I was unable to stay awake to pick my daughter up from school on time. I was falling asleep in the middle of the afternoon. I was tired all the time, even though the caffeine that I was drinking, I personally would drink Bacardi, rum and Cokes. And the caffeine would help me get going or keep going for a substantial amount of the day. But when I was tired or bored, I was tired and bored. So I would go to sleep, and then I would not be able to wake up on time. Things started to fall apart for me big time. So the responsible parent that I was and wanted to be, I was no longer to keep up. My weight was dropping substantially. I was not taking medications that I was supposed to be responsible for. And again, I had squeezed out all the endorphins out of my system, so I became a very angry person. When I would drink, it allowed me to be more like my mother was and stand up for myself, what I thought was standing up for myself. But really, it was being hateful and cruel and mean. Nobody really saw this side of me a whole bunch, except my family had to witness it every single day and had to help me cover it up. So I was talking about rehabs, why you don't want to go, and then also the first stages of going into rehabs, which is detox. A lot of people are afraid of detoxing. They have medications where you just sleep for 5 to 7 days, sometimes 3 days, depending on the rehabilitation center. These are questions you should be asking before you go in. Of course, the person that's intoxicated or under the influence should not be the one calling. There should be a family or friend that does that for you. Mind you, there are so many family and friends reaching out and saying, what can I do in this situation to get this person help? You can't make anybody do it. And if you try to make somebody do it, I almost forcefully had to go at first, but I did not. I put up barriers so that way that I didn't have to change. because I was not ready for the help. I did not really receive the help until I was ready to receive the help. I just chose to repeat it back so I could get the hell out of there and come back to my life and be the person I was before until I got tired of it. And that's really what it takes. This rock bottom that people talk about, I don't believe there is one. I kept falling and falling and falling, and I never hit rock bottom. And substantially, you can keep moving even if you hit rock bottom, until the point that I was homeless. I mean, I was homeless. Even though I have a beautiful house, I have 3 kids, I was tired of them witnessing it, so I left and I moved to Stockton. And I had already gotten myself in some trouble, so I relied on the courts to help me out. Okay, so I talked a little bit about rehabs. Also, the other option that you can offer people is sober living centers. There are several out there that sober living centers are awesome, but you have to be ready to be independent and you have to be ready to want change. I went to the same sober living center twice, and I am so blessed and grateful that I did. Okay, so first time was not that great, and that's because of me. I was not ready to receive the help. So I basically went to my case manager that was dealing with the crimes that I had committed, and which was abuse on my husband and yelling and screaming in the house, keeping my kids from being happy, my family. And then that's when I decided to leave. I was tired of putting them through what I knew I could not control anymore. And my case manager put me into a sober living center, and it was Stockton, Lily Pad Living. Amazing place. They have 2-story houses, several bedrooms. This is not only for Deborah Sambria and her daughter, Stephanie Birthwaite. They run the place. They are also amazing advocates just to the women out there. I'm sorry, men, I'm going to have to bypass you for a minute. Not that they don't support men in the same sort of abusive situation. And I don't know what the aspects are and what they can offer you for help. But you can always get a hold of me or look them up. Lily Pad Living, I have their information. They have become like my family now. My extended family, because I don't have much help from my extended family when I needed help. Which I was afraid to ask for help anyway for a long time. But when I needed help, most of them did abandon me because I had become a terrible person. So they became my family. They were who I could talk to when I was in need. Like I had said, I was so tired of this cycle that I had got, which is a very repetitive cycle that you get yourself into, and it doesn't stop. So again, I don't know what the rock bottom is because I kept waiting for it. It never hit. I just made myself sicker and sicker and added more trouble to my list of things to cure up or fix. They took me in. Now, what I was not aware of is that this is typically for people who need to learn structure on how to live on their own. I did not feel that I needed that, but I knew I was not, my husband was keeping money from me because I did not make wise decisions with money, obviously, if I was over drinking. So I did not have money to financially support myself or access to funds at that time. And we were not looking for separation or divorce, so I had no way of getting money. And insurance does not pay for sober living centers. So you can either get aid, welfare can assist you or whatever, but sober living centers are meant for you to learn a life of living sober. They're very beneficial for even if you have the skills of living soberly. What Lily Pad Living does, though, is they're also advocates for people with abuse or have been through trauma in their life. Very supportive outlet for classes, AA, getting things signed off for you that you need for your court, helping direct you on how to get around Stockton. So even if you don't live in Stockton, which I didn't, they helped me with that. They helped me know how I could get bus passes. They helped me with the housing and how to set up payments for the housing. So I was able to get some assistance through the government, through government assistance, since I was getting help for rehabilitation, which is actually could be, depending on how you look at it and your doctor looks at it, could actually be a disability at the time. Since you're actually trying to solve the problem, you could get assistance for it. You can go down to your welfare office and find out, or Social Security office, and they'll be able to let you know what Social Security benefits you can apply for. But they help mentally ill, also beatered or battered women. There's a lot of groups that they run actually at the houses if you don't have a vehicle like I didn't. That help you free your spirit of the pain that you've been through. And so it was a really healing process for me. You live with a bunch of other women who are going through the same thing as you, so you are not alone. They help you get to AA meetings. You always have a buddy system in play. You have a time limit when to be home, and they do random drug testings or alcohol testings for you. So you don't necessarily have to rely just on the court system or classes to do that if you do have charges. If you don't have charges, this is a wonderful benefit for you because it's affordable living. You can get a small part-time job, still learn to live sober, be on your own 2 feet, and start out from scratch if you are on your own. But I advocate for lily pad living because these are wonderful women that are running this, and they are advocates for strength, empowerment, learning how to trust yourself again. They are beautiful spirited women that I would not have gotten strong again without their help, constantly pushing me a little bit further and letting me know they forgive me, that they love me regardless of the mistakes I've made, that doesn't change their viewpoint of me. So they became like my friends. And when I decided to finally that I was just tired of living this way, I was placed with them. And I really messed up because in the first month, depression got the best of me. I had not sucked the medical attention I probably should have and went to a doctor and relied on them. Arguing between my husband had gotten really bad. He wanted me home, but I had to deal with my charges, and I couldn't change the past. I could not change what was going on with me, so we had a lot of resistance to each other. So I knew that coming back home would not be a wise idea for my kids. That I needed to nip this whole thing in the bud as quickly as possible, and I needed to change the way I was. The first time around, I kind of still had on a front that I was a strong woman. I could do this. I was going to do it on my own, and I didn't need to rely on help. I fell off my wagon. I began drinking on the times that I was out and about and had the freedom to do so. I basically was not sure if anybody would know, or I was trying to get a handle on when the drinking days were, but here's the truth of it. I would sit up there and it was not, I knew what I had done was wrong, and I'm living with everybody else who's working so hard to stay sober, and guilt and shame set in that they deserve better. They deserve better than that. I could not look at any of these women in the face and constantly be inebriated. It wasn't fair. It wasn't fair to them. I kept stealing my own chances to get better, and I understand that I did not have the coping mechanisms to understand that I was worth it. At that time, I held everybody higher than me, but I could not face these people and know that they went a day longer than I did, and I was not admitting what I did, and I knew that I would not be able to get proper treatment. I was, again, becoming very tired of a facade, tired of faking that I was happy, tired of feeling like I was alone. Again, these feelings weren't going away. They just would come back after I sobered up, and drinking was not going to make them go away. They were still going to be there every time I sobered up. And I wasn't even having fun drinking anymore. There was nobody to tell, nobody to hang out with. Everybody was sober. So why I was doing it was baffling me. It just ruined my head big time. Ate me up on the inside. Like, why do I continue to do this? Why am I letting people down? Why am I letting myself down? Like, this is just retarded. So I would go down and I would tell them the truth. I drank today. I have some in my backpack. I did bring it into the house, which is a no-no rule. They didn't want to lose me. They knew I was better than this, but they did what they had to do. And they were the ones that actually got me to the His Way program, because at a certain point, they can't babysit me all the time. His Way had the aspect of doing that because you're living with people in the same situation. Those are people who are living independently, like they're trying to gain their own life skills. In His Way, they make you live together. Like, you're not allowed to really just go and do your own thing until you're a year sober. So, I mean, it is a year program there. So, it's a lot longer of a process, but that is your last resort, really. It's right before jail. You're going to go to jail if you don't make it through these programs. So that's your option. You either do it or you don't. So again, they directed me there. They told me how sorry they were for me, and that they wanted the best for me. So after the His Way program, I had been sober for quite some time, like 6 months. And Lily Pad was willing to take me back even after what I did. Deborah was wonderful to me. Stephanie was wonderful to me. Christy, who works with them, they treat everybody like family. And it was really a true blessing, because I don't think I'd be alive today if it wasn't for them. I think my kids and my family will always be grateful. I went back there. I lived with them for quite some time, and I loved it. They allowed me to be able to make decisions that were best for the house if there was arguing going on, and they directed me to an intensive therapy at St. Joseph, which was in walking distance, that I didn't necessarily have to take. I had to take classes. But Deborah had told me how this class had changed her life, and it was going to be a lot more excruciating. It was going to be 3 hours for 3 times a week, which is a lot of classes, but they were going to be heavy-duty classes that were going to almost brainwash you into the correct way to cope with things. So that way, when instantaneously an argument starts, your mind immediately goes to the new way of thinking. So it was wonderful, because I came back a changed person. This has not been easy for my family, because I am now focused on sobriety. Like, that is my main goal in life. And I'm still not perfect at it. I still struggle all the time. Like, I fight with myself. So that's okay. That's okay. I still become very irate at people, but I learned to step away. These are my problems, not everybody else's, and they shouldn't have to deal with them. And when things get a little too chaotic for me, I know to tap out. I need to go take a breather or a walk. I can't handle this right now. The bantering or the negativity is getting on my last nerve. So I've learned what my power is. My power is I cannot change other people. My power is I can only work on myself every day, and that I don't have to deal with things that upset me. That I have the power to overcome and forgive what I was angry about in the past. The forgiveness part, my Bible comes in really well for that. Deborah has really set forth this whole mindfulness, which is where I ground myself when everything seems to kind of be spinning, or it's going too fast, or my heart's racing. Grab a tree, put your feet in the grass, feel the coldness, feel the wet, look around. What do you see? Colors. I know it all sounds so stupid, but really it's very imperative on staying calm, keeping your breathing good, keeping your heart well, your body and your soul is one, and realizing who you are, that you are capable of being strong-willed and keeping your patience. So I give a shout out to Lily Pad. I hope to advocate for them. I will always be a resource. I'm raising money right now for those that cannot support themselves within rehabilitation. Some people need church outfits. They want to go to church. They want to better their lives. They just don't have the means or the money to do it. And they don't have insurance, and or they're in abusive situations where money or finances are being kept from them, or, and it's a shame to see how many broken people there are that really do want to get better. They just don't have an aspect to do it. So these resources are really great starts. And once you get into one, you will find a family or a friend unit that is willing to help you. If you don't, know that there are other ways about it. Know there's people like me out there that can direct you, or want to direct you in the right ways, and want to help. You're not alone in the world. Again, #1 killer, and people are trying every day to get better. So I'm tired of being afraid of it. I used to hide. I used to lie, really, and tell people, oh, I have medical illness and my liver shut down on me, which I'm sure a lot of people read through that. No, that was me getting jaundice and drinking my life away. I believe even on the way to the ER, I had a bourbon and 7. I was like, F it, that's where my life was at. So it's about learning how to have faith in yourself and confidence in yourself again. I felt like I had allowed or enabled people to take my confidence and my skills, put me down enough, to make me feel not worthy to be here, or that I'm just a waste of space or time. I now don't do that. It's not that I dislike people. I just won't invest my time in it. If they don't want to be around me, that's their option. But I believe that I'm worth to be around. I believe I have a lot to offer. I believe I'm smart, good-willed person. I know in all of my might that I'm kind and I'm loving and I have a lot to offer, so that's what matters. That matters. And as long as I know that, then other people will see that in me. So with that, Lily Pad Living, even if you don't live in the area, I give them a call. You can find them in Stockton, California. They will be willing to direct you to the right place, or they will tell you if they have a bed for you. Make space in your life for them. Please. They saved my life. They forgave me. They do not kill you if you relapse. They will embrace you and tell you, get back on the horse. They will help you get back on it. And they can give you the strength and empowerment that a family that maybe is angry at you or resenting you for your decisions, or even if you need space away from them. I hate to say that, but sometimes they don't always know what they've done that maybe hurt us and don't know how to say they're sorry. I'm finding there's a lot of people that don't know how to say they're sorry. And I don't understand, because it's really not that hard of a thing to say. I've had to say it now for 8 months. And once I learned it, oh my God, a ton of bricks off my shoulder. Like, I really am sorry in a genuine way. Like, what I became was nobody's fault. Nobody's to blame for it, not even me. So it is what it is, and it's now the past, and I move towards my future. So that is how you get started into sober living now, every day, and every day after that. I woke, like I told you, there are resources or books. So I start my morning first. I put my 2 feet on the ground. Now, one thing I did when I was intoxicated, I would put my 2 feet on the ground and I would slowly open my eyes, and I would be pissed that I was waking up because I had wanted to die. So I no longer do that. And I put my 2 feet on the ground. And I bow my head. I put my elbows on my legs. And I thank God that I'm here, that I feel my heart beating, that I'm breathing in and out, that I can breathe fresh air, that I have a roof over my head, a warm bed to sleep in, and food that will nourish my body. That is all I need for that morning. That I am capably functioning of thinking straight. I don't have psychosis, or I don't need a drink right now. That I'm okay. I'm not tremoring. I'm not shaking. I'm not in pain. I thank God for that every single day. And I thank everybody who helped me get here. So, and then I read a book of choice, whichever your book is going to be. But I had mentioned to you guys that mine is this one, Mind, Body, and Spirit. I got this from my intensive therapy alcohol dependent class at St. Joseph's, also located in Stockton, California. This goes day to day, and you can keep one in your car, you can keep one at work, you can keep one in your purse, but there's millions of different ones, and they will give you motivation every day when you're starting to lose it, or you need to feel grounded. It reminds you whatever's going on right then doesn't matter. It's small peanuts compared to the big picture, okay? So ours for today, I start my morning with whatever today's is, and this is, we are betrayed by what is false within. From the beginning of our lives, we were taught to control ourselves. We were taught to be strong, not to cry, and not to show others how we feel. We became false to others and to ourselves. But today, in recovery, we can unlearn all those teachings. Recovery demands that we let our feelings out, be honest, and share our fears. We have to let go of our old ways. Just as we learned our old lessons well, we are capable of unlearning and replacing them with our program. We have the tools and support to learn a new, honest way of living. We can learn to recognize dishonesty. Our minds become clear again. We can finally be honest inside and out. With nothing to hide, we can safely share our deepest secrets, our darkest fears. We can get in touch with who we really are, secure in the knowledge that our higher power will help us find the strength that we need to change. Now we can become real. Today helped me learn a new way of life, one day at a time. So again, that's a great way to start your day. Remembering that I don't care if it's a commercial. I don't care if you see a dog walking the streets without a collar. If there's these little things that make you feel some sort of pain on the inside, learning to cry again is huge. It's huge in connecting to your heart and connecting to the fact that you're human and pain is okay. We forget that we're human and we forget that it's acceptable to be that. In fact, we become so detached. One of the things about some of the rehabs was taking away electronics, taking away a cell phone. I didn't realize how that alone cuts off all interpersonal connections with other human beings. We all feel the same way. You go down to Target and you walk in the front doors, everybody's looking at a phone. Nobody's looking and making eye contact with another human being anymore. We're not seeing the sorrow. We're not seeing the stress, the pain, the worry, just maybe even walking up and giving people random hugs. You never know how that can change somebody's day. And remembering that we're human beings. We all have hearts that we all feel. We're not mechanical. Put down your phone give yourself like an hour a day. Again, these little simple starts on how to reconnect with the world, how to take deep breaths in, touching the fiber of a leaf, coloring it on a piece of paper. Do these things for yourself because it's healing. It's becoming one with the universe, one spiritually, making your soul grounded. And it's okay to cry. Didn't realize how that affects my kids, but my kids right now are unable to cry because I was taught not to cry. My husband's taught not to cry. Even if I did, I would hide somewhere. So it's not like they ever saw me. And now they don't know how to be emotional. It's sad what we could do to other human beings when we don't show our feelings. So why not try just being human again and feel and stop caring about all this superficial crap, all this makeup and the way we talk and the stupid thing on television, and start talking about each other. Start talking or figuring out what we like, who we are again. These are simple places to start. So anyway, it's Saturday. I hope you have a great weekend, and I will see you all soon. Thank you.